You think you're unwinding after a long day. You believe you've earned that third hour of scrolling through manufactured fantasies created by people who will never know your name. You tell yourself it's harmless, that it's just entertainment, that everyone does it. And that right there is precisely the problem. Everyone does it. You've become indistinguishable from the masses, and the masses are designed to be controlled, harvested, and kept in a perpetual state of comfortable paralysis. While you sit there absorbing other people's creativity, other people's ambitions, other people's victories, there are individuals right now building empires on your attention. They're not watching, they're creating, they're strategizing. They're accumulating power while you accumulate nothing but the hollow satisfaction of vicarious experience. A philosopher warned us about this exact trap when he described the last man, that pathetic creature who has eliminated all struggle from life and seeks nothing but comfort, safety, and the warm embrace of mediocrity. The last man blinks and asks, what is love? What is creation? What is longing? What is a star? These concepts are too strenuous. The last man has his little pleasures for the day and his little pleasures for the night, but he regards health above all. We have invented happiness, say the last men, and they blink. You are being engineered into that creature right now. Let me show you the mathematics of your own domestication. The average person consumes over 4 hours of entertainment daily. 4 hours. That's 28 hours per week. That's 1,460 hours per year. 60 complete days and nights. 2 full months of your one precious life spent absorbing content created to keep you pacified. Now compound that over a decade. 20 months, nearly 2 years of pure consumption. But it's worse than simple time theft. Those hours represent your highest energy periods, the moments after work when you still have cognitive capacity, when you could be building a side venture, learning market dynamics, developing skills that translate to leverage and capital. Instead, you're giving those prime hours to corporations that have weaponized behavioral psychology against you. Netflix doesn't accidentally autoplay the next episode. That's a calculated assault on your executive function. The algorithm doesn't randomly serve you content. It's been optimized through billions of data points to keep you locked in a state of passive consumption. You're not choosing to watch. You're being held captive by systems designed by Stanford and MIT graduates who understand your neurology better than you do. The dopamine trap is elegant in its cruelty. Every notification, every episode cliffhanger, every infinite scroll feature is engineered to trigger the same neurological reward pathway that once motivated you to hunt, to build, to conquer. But now that ancient system is being hijacked to keep you clicking, watching, consuming. Your brain can't differentiate between the satisfaction of real achievement and the artificial satisfaction of watching someone else achieve. So you get your hit, you feel something, and you never have to risk anything. You never have to face the terror of your own potential. This is learned helplessness at scale. You're being trained like a laboratory animal to seek comfort and avoid the discomfort that accompanies all real growth, all real power acquisition. And the most insidious part is how you defend this enslavement. You call it self-care, you call it work-life balance. You've created an entire moral framework that justifies your own sedation. Here's what they don't tell you about the wealth gap. It's not primarily about inheritance or connections or even intelligence. It's about the allocation of attention and energy. The people accumulating disproportionate power in this economy are not smarter than you. They've simply refused to participate in the mass anesthesia. While you're watching billionaires in documentaries, they're studying market inefficiencies. While you're streaming someone else's creativity, they're developing intellectual property. While you're being entertained, they're acquiring assets. The gap isn't widening because of some external force. It's widening because you've been convinced that your leisure time should be spent in a state of passive reception, rather than active creation. You've been sold the idea that you deserve to turn your brain off, that you've earned the right to be unproductive, that rest means consumption. This is slave morality dressed up as self-compassion. The masters of this era don't rest by consuming. They rest by creating something different, by reading what increases their strategic advantage, by engaging in activities that compound their capabilities. They understand what you've forgotten. Time is the only non-renewable resource, and every hour spent in someone else's reality is an hour stolen from building your own. Your brain is being physically restructured right now. Neuroplasticity isn't just some abstract concept. It means your neural pathways are literally being rewired based on your habitual behaviors. When you spend hours in passive consumption, you're strengthening the pathways associated with reception and weakening the pathways associated with creation. With strategic thinking, with discomfort tolerance, you're becoming neurologically incapable of sitting with boredom, with silence, with your own thoughts. Try it right now. Put everything down and sit in complete silence for 10 minutes. No phone, no stimulation, just you and your mind. You can't do it. Most of you made it maybe 90 seconds before the anxiety became unbearable. That's not normal. That's pathological. You've been conditioned to require constant external stimulation because a person who can't sit with their own thoughts is a person who can't plan, can't strategize, can't develop the long-term vision required to accumulate real power. You've been rendered harmless. The herd protects itself through social pressure. When you start to separate, when you begin refusing the group's pacification rituals, watch what happens. They'll call you extreme. They'll say you're no fun anymore. They'll question why you can't just relax like everyone else. This is the mediocrity pact enforcing itself. The herd instinctively punishes defection because your rise implies their stagnation. Your discipline highlights their weakness. Your refusal to be entertained into submission threatens the comfortable lie they've all agreed to believe, that this is just how life is, that everyone needs to decompress this way, that there's no alternative to trading your potential for temporary comfort. A philosopher understood this dynamic perfectly. The individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. The tribe wants you comfortable, compliant, and predictable. The tribe needs you to stay at their level because your transcendence is their judgment. So they'll offer you every rationalization, every excuse, every moral framework that justifies your continued domestication. And if you accept their frame, if you keep seeking their approval, you'll spend your entire life as a domesticated animal, wondering why you never became dangerous, why you never accumulated power, why you remained harmless and forgettable until the very end. You think breaking free is about motivation. It is not. It's about recognizing that your entire value system has been constructed to keep you weak. Every belief you hold about rest, about balance, about deserving entertainment after a hard day, these are not your ideas. They were installed in you by a system that benefits from your passivity. A philosopher called it the revaluation of all values. You need to take every single thing you believe about how life should be lived and ask yourself one question. Does this belief make me more powerful, or does it make me more manageable? Your addiction to comfort is not a personality trait. It is a cage you were born into and then taught to defend. The powerful do not relax the way you relax. They do not collapse into their couch and surrender 6 hours to a screen. When they rest, it is strategic. It is calculated. It is a weapon being sharpened, not dulled. They understand something you have been conditioned to forget. Discomfort is the forge where power is made. Every moment you spend in voluntary sedation is a moment someone else is spending building the systems that will control your future. While you watch other people pretend to live on a screen, someone else is constructing the financial instruments that will determine whether you eat or starve in 20 years. This is not exaggeration. This is the mathematics of domination. You want to know why you feel that creeping anxiety every time you finish binging a series? Why there is that hollow sensation after hours of scrolling? Your body knows. Some part of you that has not been completely domesticated recognizes that you just traded irreplaceable time for absolutely nothing. You got no closer to power. You built nothing. You acquired no skills. You made no moves on the board. You sat there and let your most valuable resource, your consciousness, be occupied by narratives designed by committees to keep you pacified. And the worst part is, you will do it again tonight and tomorrow night. Because the discomfort of sitting with yourself, of confronting what you have not become is more terrifying than the slow death of distraction. The herd has convinced you that creation is for special people, that building something, making something, dominating a domain, these are activities reserved for the naturally gifted. This is a lie they tell themselves to justify their own cowardice. Creation is not a gift, it is a choice. It is the choice to endure the discomfort of being alone with an idea that does not yet exist. It is the choice to fail repeatedly in private, while the herd is being entertained in public. Every empire, every fortune, every structure of power began with someone choosing creation over consumption. Not because they were special, but because they were willing to be bored, to be uncomfortable, to sit in the emptiness until something emerged. Strategic boredom is a concept the modern world has tried to eliminate entirely. You are never allowed to be bored anymore. Your phone ensures that every empty moment is filled with stimulation. But boredom is not the enemy. Boredom is the birthplace of ambition. When you have nothing to distract you from your own inadequacy, two things can happen. You can run back to the anesthesia, or you can let that discomfort transform into rage. Rage at what you have not built. Rage at the time you have wasted. Rage at the systems that kept you docile. That rage, properly directed, becomes the fuel for everything that matters. The powerful learned long ago to weaponize their emptiness. They sit in silence and let it show them what they actually want, not what they have been told to want. Solitude is where you separate from the herd. Not physical solitude necessarily, but psychological solitude. The ability to hold a position that everyone around you thinks is insane. The ability to pursue a vision that makes no sense to people still trapped in consensus reality. The herd will call you obsessed. They will say you are unbalanced. They will tell you that you need to relax, to enjoy life, to stop taking everything so seriously. This is how they pull you back down. They cannot stand watching someone attempt to transcend because it forces them to confront their own surrender. Your refusal to be entertained on demand is an accusation they cannot tolerate. So they will mock your discipline. They will laugh at your routines. They will tell you that you are missing out on life while they scroll themselves into oblivion. The dark discipline is this: entertainment is not eliminated. It is subordinated. It becomes a reward that you grant yourself only after you have moved your pieces on the board. Only after you have created something, built something, dominated something. You earn the right to be distracted by first being dangerous. The weak use entertainment as a default state. The powerful use it as a controlled release after conquest. This is not about becoming a joyless machine. This is about understanding that joy earned through achievement is a completely different substance than pleasure stolen from your own potential. One builds you, one destroys you. The herd cannot tell the difference anymore because they have been consuming empty calories for so long, they have forgotten what real nourishment feels like. Here's what I want you to do right now. I want you to comment the word awake if you recognize yourself in what I am describing. If some part of you, the part that has not been completely domesticated, knows that you have been trading your potential for comfort. Do not comment if you are still making excuses. Do not comment if you are still negotiating with your own weakness. Comment awake only if you are ready to admit that the herd has been using entertainment to keep you manageable. And tell me which streaming service has stolen the most hours from your potential. Name it. Make it real. Because until you can identify your specific anesthesia, you cannot begin to withdraw from it. The sheep will scroll past this. They will feel the discomfort of recognition and immediately seek the next distraction. The wolves will respond. I will know who you are by whether you can face this or whether you run. Your brain has been rewired. This is not metaphor. The neural pathways that once drove you toward challenge and growth have been redirected toward the path of least resistance. Every time you choose the screen over the struggle, you strengthen the circuits of avoidance and weaken the circuits of agency. Your brain is adapting to captivity. It is becoming optimized for consumption rather than creation. The attention span you once had, the ability to focus on difficult problems for extended periods, this has been systematically destroyed. You now exist in a state of perpetual distraction, skimming surfaces, never going deep, never building anything that requires sustained effort. This is not accidental. This is the designed outcome of an entertainment industrial complex that profits from your fragmentation. The wealth gap you see expanding is not primarily about inheritance or opportunity. It is about time allocation and consciousness deployment. The people accumulating power are spending their hours differently than you are. While you are being entertained, they are learning systems. While you are watching fictional characters overcome obstacles, they are overcoming real obstacles in domains that generate wealth. While you are consuming stories about power, they are acquiring actual power. The gap is not closing, it is accelerating. And every hour you spend in voluntary sedation is an hour they spend building the infrastructure that will determine your future options. You think you're taking a break from the struggle, you're actually surrendering territory you will never reclaim. A philosopher wrote about the last man, the final human, the one who has eliminated all struggle from life and seeks only comfort and entertainment. The last man blinks and says, "What is love? What is creation? What is longing? What is a star?" He has made everything small and safe and manageable. He has eliminated danger and with it eliminated greatness. The last man is not a future prediction. The last man is here. The last man is the default setting of modern existence. The last man is you, every time you choose the couch over the arena. Every time you choose the screen over the page. Every time you choose consumption over creation. The question is whether you will remain the last man or whether you will become something the herd cannot comprehend. Subscribe to this channel only if you understand what it actually is. This is not entertainment. This is psychological warfare against your own mediocrity. Every video is designed to make you uncomfortable with your current trajectory. Every concept is a weapon you can use against the systems that want you docile. I am not here to make you feel good about your choices. I am here to show you that your choices have been made for you and that you have been defending your own cage. A philosopher said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." I am giving you the why. The why is power. The why is transcendence. The why is becoming something that the herd cannot pull back down. If you want philosophy that builds empires instead of justifies mediocrity, if you want the frameworks they do not teach because they produce dangerous individuals, then subscribe. Every video is another tool for your escape. Every concept is another step away from domestication. The choice is whether you will keep watching your life happen on a screen, or whether you will become the one who builds the screens that others watch. The herd is waiting for you to rejoin them. The arena is waiting for you to enter it. Only one of these paths leads to power.